All right, it's 6 o'clock, so we're gonna call this. We got a quorum, and we're going to stand and say the pledges. So I'm sure Brad would appreciate it. He's not here today. Stephanie's father passed away, so I'm filling in for Brad while he's out. They're going to the visitation for the funeral tomorrow. I think it's tomorrow, right? Is it tonight? Okay. So you've had a chance to review the minutes from December. I just need a motion to approve those.
I'll do a motion to approve.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, so moving along, citizen participations.
He's not actually going to do the citizen participation. He's going to be on the discussion item for signage. He's going to move into the public.
Okay, so we can move on to the agenda then. We don't have any citizen participation.
Are you doing the consent?
Yes. You're basically telling me go ahead.
Yes.
All right, so we're going to hear from BFX.
I am BFX, and I appreciate having been on the council, as Tina well remembers, and enduring much more troublesome times at times. It's a pleasure to sit up here and be present with y'all. Of course, budget hearings and that kind of stuff, and I was on the council whenever we voted for the CLG status, which caused so much confusion in the town to enact the historic districts, and people were afraid of, what the implications would be. But as your president of the Historical Society for the town of Mount Vernon in the county, I hope all of you have had nothing but good things you've heard about it. So what I had asked Brad about, and Lily sits on the board of the Historical Society, we have 70 signs that we're around the town and out in the county. 50 of them are in the town of Mount Vernon, 52. And these are the signs that they're wooden signs and they're on posts, and the posts are ending up lasting about 15 years. We're in good shape on that, and we constantly keep them going. And I say that as a 501c3 with our headquarters down at 701 Kaufman Street. The winds about 2 months ago in one night knocked about 10 or 11, but out of the signpost angle corner. However, we've come up with a new method for doing those, and we're actually drilling holes in the corner. We're using heavy braided wire like you'd use to hang a mirror if you were...
Are you talking about the signs in front of the house?
Correct. I'm sorry. Yeah, the house signs we do. We originally started out marking out every house that was built before World War I. And the reason, and there are quite a few, the reason for doing that was we'd been to a seminar in Austin. It was like pride of place, as long as you've got one on your home, for instance. If an owner is identified and knows what the home is, and it's identified like the Stringer house or the Davidson house, the historic family, and it tells the year, not only does it attract tourism, but it makes more people take pride in their home. And that really did happen. There were houses that were deteriorating, and all through the town, we started putting those signs on houses, and people were trying to spit their houses up a little bit. And we think we've been pretty successful with that. But the signs, so they're all hung with these eye bolts. The winds knock them out. Kids come along and swing on them. I mean, so our new method, we're drilling pretty good holes, And then we're taking like mirror hanging wire and we're twisting that through them and then hanging them up into the cross piece. And we think that will make them a little more durable and last better. The problem I have, Lily and I are not getting any younger, and most of our volunteers are older than me and Lily. Okay, that in a nice way of saying it, what I've got is a retirement community trying to maintain the signs. I could even tell you our organization will pay for those signs. They cost. We've got a place in Silver Springs called the Sign Shop. They're costing us $50 each. What we would be asking is for the city maintenance guy, the maintenance crew, or for the city inspector, somebody who's making regular rounds, because it's kind of embarrassing. Somebody who doesn't live in the house, or whatever. Some of our people end up in nursing homes. So here's a sign that's fallen apart or been damaged, or once in a while we've had a car run over the yard post and all. We can cover, our organization is pretty flush, we can cover the cost of maintaining the signs. I need the city to, now this is just within the city limit, but this is the great bulk of our signs. We'll still circulate out in the county. We could do that. I say that, we have about 50 active members in the town. We do a newsletter, and the newsletter is reaching probably 500 or 600 people. We just published 370. And when you think about that newsletter also going, I hope all of you are getting it. If you're not, by now, if you call our office. Okay, great. We wanted the city to get it. Y'all made it possible for us to have our elevator and have it running, and we've actually had some groups in. And Lily, we could invite the entire council, and this is jumping around, but it's worth knowing what we're doing. We've just installed a lot of computer equipment, and that's the 24th of January? At 6 o'clock. The 24th of January at the depot and in the fire station, we're going to have our tech guy who does our web page showing off all of these new laptop computers that display, articles and the web page and pictures about the county and all that. We've got like 7 different ones. The whole facility will be open, and it's kind of a socially distanced, we hope, kind of safe function going on. We'd love to have y'all come because it's kind of our grand opening for our computer. The word we used was forging into the future. And we got signs in front of those, but primarily it's the houses all over the town where we're having issues. If we just had somebody from the city, if one of those wires pulls loose or something, if somebody, just a routine repair that I'm not, well, frankly, that there comes the word I because it's the truth. I'm finding myself basically doing it, and I'm pretty much nearing retirement age, and I don't have anybody following. We've started this program. We don't want it to end. We're real proud of it. We hope y'all are. We need a little more buy-in or support from the city just in terms of physical aspects of supervision, and we could probably tweak that out with Tina. So I called Brad. I was like, I need some help on this. And people die, people divorce, people sell their homes. If that is happening, we'll take that sign down. We'll go to Silver Springs, call the sign shop for $50. We get a real good looking sign. It might be with sometime, if I was not able to do it, we'd ask the city guys, go hang it. But if I understand y'all are looking at doing a web page, if we could have those 50 signs on the web page denoting where they are all over town, I think it adds, and I hope that word I becomes we, in terms of promoting tourism and interest in our community, and again, pride of place in terms of what we're doing in Mount Vernon. So we're all looking toward the day that we can have a sign out on the interstate that says, come see historic Mount Vernon. Well, we want to expand that beyond just see historic downtown and make this square. But with y'all's help and putting it on the city webpage, we've got like 50 signs. I will update that, and we've really been working on it pretty hard in just the last 2 weeks. We've had all of them repainted and re-upped and gotten them all current. And I could give that in a digital format, which could be planted in for the city webpage. Now I'll shut up, but that's where the goal is.
So, do y'all have a pin drop at each of those houses that we can?
We don't, but Lily, I think that would be easy for us to do. I mean, truly, because nowadays with the technology, we just go around to them and we could do that in, sure.
So
Would that help?
Y'all will do that like on the Google Map? Y'all will do the dropping of the pin on the Google Map, and then we can incorporate that.
And we could go even further because we've got, I've got it as just a Word document, Word or Excel, but where I've listed like 50 houses and given the street address and who the owner. Now, some of that, of course, you could find it on the tax rolls. You wouldn't necessarily put it on the web page, but yeah, Kathy, we could go a step further with dropping the pin, but we could give you all kinds of information that would correlate to the numbers, or however we did that.
What I was going to say was, if you drop the pin, then we could attach a history to that address, to that house, so people
Sure,
out there.
we like
could
that,
read
and we'd like that if y'all were willing to. For instance, Mark's house belonged to a guy who served as like the chief judge of the Court of Criminal Appeals. He starts out in 1906 marrying in Mount Vernon, Texas, and ends up going to like the highest court in Texas, not the nation, but in Texas, for a number of years, Lloyd Davidson. It's pretty hard to believe and not a very well-known story. And then, of course, the Don Meredith house isn't that old, but Don Meredith childhood home. So, yeah, we've got a history attached to all of them that we'd like to, that's what we're all about, is making sure people are aware of our history here anyway. Now, we just needed to plant the seed, and we've got them in real good shape. But if y'all are doing any kind of development toward web page or signage anyway, well, put us in the big picture. And then also, I'm not asking for really a city budget item so much as just the city employees, or whether you're one guy or you're coded somebody, to be kind of monitor once this is down, to be kind of monitoring them and helping us on that front.
Just when we see one hanging loose or whatever, to fix it.
Yeah, I mean, you could call me at this point. We're not asking y'all to necessarily take over, but it sure would be help. But the night of that bad storm, when there were real high winds, we were getting calls from all over town. If some city guy had been around there and seen them, and especially if we make it our new little easier way to, of course, we'd like to think that wire, once we start drilling some holes, is going to take the wind buffeting them better anyway. The one in front of your house right now will have an eye hook just screwed in, so it's subject to the wind pulling it out. Thanks for listening. That was it for the night, but yeah, I'll be back. Okay. Maybe I'll be. Okay. Yo, thanks for putting me on so early. I'll go eat then. Okay. Thanks a lot.
Thanks.
All right, so we're done with citizen participation and items to be considered. I was told that we thought Pat Wright was going to be here, but he's not. But so I asked about this sheet. Sorry, I knew that. I was told that this isn't for alcohol for sale. This was something that they've done in the past, and that we are just. Okay. Lily, would you like to come speak to this?
Your button is on here.
The Rotary Club for 15 years, I think it is, has done the Tour de Cyprus each spring. We've had the last two have been defaulted because of COVID. We're planning to get it back this year, which will be the third Saturday in April, which coincides with the request for tonight. We have, since almost the start, I think maybe the very start, we have offered the riders and or the riders a chance for having a beer after they finish the ride. They get 2 tickets, and that's it. It's furnished by the club and in cooperation with one or more of the suppliers. But there's a limited amount that they can have, and we've never had any problem from dispensing any of that. We have
How
people
many years
on
have y'all
site.
been doing it?
About 15. So it's not new.
Anybody have any questions?
So beer is the only alcohol that'll be served?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you ever have any underage riders?
Yes, there are, but as I said, they get tickets, and the Rotary Club members are there to check who gets that.
Okay, so IDs are checked then for age?
Yes.
And it's only the participants that get the tickets?
It is my understanding, I have not been directly involved with the dispensing of it, but as I understand it, it's the riders. only the participants, yeah. Yeah, it might be a rider and a spouse, but, you know, that are riding together, but, you know, most of them are pretty much, they're here to ride. And we get a lot, this year, it's gonna be on an Easter weekend, and traditionally, the Easter weekends have been our best turnout. We had over 325 registrants the last Easter weekend that we had. It was the biggest one we've ever had. I guess because maybe they're off a little bit more and they have a chance to get away, feel a little more leisurely about coming, and so we're looking forward to a large turnout this time. Friday night we do Heroes Barbecue. The logistics of exactly where that's going to be this time, hasn't been determined for sure, but we honor the fire department, the police, and everybody, the other volunteers, EMS, along with any riders that show up the night before that would like to come out and have barbecue with us with a full meal. The first responders and the other people are usually out to help man, to make sure that the traffic areas are cleared, and we've been blessed by not having really any major incidents for people getting hurt on this ride.
So will alcohol be served Friday night?
No. That is not, and normally we hold that in one of the larger church facilities, or we've had it at the airport or whatever, and we've not served any kind of alcohol at any of those venues.
Any other questions on this one?
Appreciate your consideration.
So do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion.
And a second?
I'll do a second.
All right, so moved, and moving on to the next one is, all approved?
Aye.
Are there any nays? The next one, this is the approval for the Parks and Wildlife Application Support Letter. This is for the Trails Grant that we talked about a few weeks ago. And this is just to select Gary Taylor as the grant writer. So it's just a formal commitment of the grant writing matching funds is what it is, right? That's what it says here.
Consider and act upon approval of Texas Parks and Wildlife application support letter for the Trails Grant for a minimum commitment of $50,000.
And that was our portion, right, that we had to pay for that?
Okay, so this is just a letter saying the city council supports it, that's what they wanted, and I also got EDC to give me one, Chamber, Key Club, Main Street, and Industrial Foundation. They're just saying they support this project. I think it helps us get the grant.
All right, so we just need a motion that we're in support of pursuing this trail grant funding.
Yeah, I'll make a motion.
Second?
I'll second that motion.
All right, so approved. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, the next one is consider and act upon the approval of Resolution 22-1, selecting Gary Taylor and Associates as grant writer and administrator for the American Rescue Plan Act of 2021. Now, on that one, it's my understanding he was the only one who submitted an application to do so, and this is simply filing the paperwork and permission to file on our behalf for the funding, that we're gonna get half of it in 2021, we'll get the other half in 2022, and this is to be used for infrastructure, which we do need money for. And we believe the total amount will be somewhere in the neighborhood of $670,000. So I need a motion to approve us allowing them to pursue this on our behalf.
I so move, but after the second, I have questions.
Second? Second. All right, questions?
You said half of it in 21 and half of it in 22. Do you mean half of it in 22 and half of it in 23?
No, we've already received half of it. This is,
Okay.
It's part of that big COVID.
Well, how,
They just gave it to us. But we have to have a plan for what we're gonna use it for.
this is for the plan on how we're going to spend it, not. Now he's got, you said it was 600.
Expecting to be in $670,000. So, do we have a vote? Motion, all in favor? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any nay?
Can we back up just a minute? What is it gonna cost us for him to administer that plan?
So the next one is related to this. It's consider an act upon a resolution 22-02 selecting KSA engineers to assist in the implementation of the American Rescue Plan Act. So, one question that was here, I've got Brad's notes, and so he had a question here. He said that Tina can likely elaborate here, but let's make sure that we aren't spending engineering money that's not necessary. It likely is necessary to have our engineer involved, but honestly not sure. You know what do you mean by that?
no, it is a grant, so we figured out.
It's required.
Also, it would probably be, this is just me saying, it will probably be those big pump things. Remember those big roll things? Remember they wanted to replace those at the sewer plant?
Oh.
Yeah, and it will probably be those, and it'll be just two of them.
So do I have a motion to select KSA to assist in the implementation?
I will put a motion in for that.
I'll second.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
All right, last on the list is to consider and act resolution 22.3 approving EDC incentive for existing business structure with Robin Wallace, DBA Shears Gift and Salon. did a little bit of work on this, and we got a letter from Stan, the city attorney, who is, had some concerns, so I really don't know if we need to have any questions on this. My suggestion is just that we table this and send it back to the EDC to put it in a format to bring back before us, with the rest of the information on it. Do we need to vote on that at all, or just table it and postpone it? Okay.
Can I make a comment here? Because they're asking for help with equipment, that's going to open us up for a lot of things. What if somebody wants to put in a new grill or wants to buy a new delivery truck?
I think that's why we're tabling it, sending it back to the EDC, let them do their thing, and then bring it back. Yep, be a little more detailed than what they're asking for and how they're going to it, and make sure the scope's correct.
Right, but I think if we're going to help a business, it ought to be something that's permanent, attached to the building, and equipment is not attached to a building. And there's nothing that says they can't turn around and sell that piece of equipment if it proves not to be a moneymaker, and we don't have any control over that. So I guess I would recommend that we don't allow equipment to be one of the things that EDC will help a business with. Now, I don't understand why when Shears asked for help with their air conditioning, which is attached to the building, that was denied. And so maybe they could reconsider that part rather than the equipment.
I think that's why we're sending it back to EDC, let them figure it out, and send it back to us for it's very presented to the mayor. That's all of the items, discussion items. BF Hicks already went. There is I found out just a little while ago that someone is pursuing a city newspaper here in town, which would be good. And in the meantime, I'm just going to read something that Brad sent over here on a community communications. And the piece of paper each one of you had is kind of will relate to this. But he said, this is one thing that he's pretty passionate about in the paper. I want to have a quarterly newsletter from myself sharing our key priorities that we as a council have been addressing. Give a look back at 2021, the work we've done at Public Works, mapping out our lead, steel, degraded water lines, mapping out our clay pipe sewer lines that have failed and are failing, the engineering analysis of our wastewater treatment plant that is now undersized for our growth, as well as a desire to find a way to lower the cost of our water production that currently costs more to produce than we pay for as customers. We get the verbiage right here, but I want the community to hear our challenges that we are facing and taking action ahead and highlight the good work the council is doing along with the City Hall team. We'll also highlight the strong growth in sales tax collections and the filling of so many of our commercial buildings, filling of so much of our commercial buildings with new businesses. It's an opportunity to highlight the good, share the challenges that we're tackling as a council, share the work on updating our comprehensive plan, and connect with the community on a regular basis. My goal is to have the first newsletter out by the last week of January, if not sooner. So he just wanted to open it up for discussion here. That piece of paper you have in front of you are some of the things that we've looked at in 2021. Some of the things aren't done, some of the things we're still looking at, but this was some of the things he wanted to talk about and wanted to give y'all an opportunity if you could think of anything else that we might want to highlight. And I'll open it up for discussion.
So you're talking about putting this in a newsletter to go out to the residents?
Correct, to go out to the resident.
I think actually some of those photos of those pipings should be added into those.
I think that's a good idea.
Yeah, because, I mean, seeing is believing, and those are really bad, and I think that they need to see it.
The house right down the street from me, the brand new house, that blue house they're building, I forget what road that's on, but they had to bring in a pump to pump water into the house because the water pressure is so bad at that house. So, You saw the pipe a couple weeks ago that Brad brought in here. I mean, you couldn't even see through the pipe, and that's a water pipe.
But that's why I think that the community really needs to see that, so they really get an understanding of how bad it is.
Because we're gonna be asking to spend a lot of money to get it all fixed. So that's why I think this newsletter is important, that people understand we're not just trying to spend money. If it's not done now, it's gonna cost even more in 5 years.
Well, and I also think that they will be able to connect what we're doing with, yes, your bill went up. So it didn't just go up just because we wanted it to. It was crucial.
If y'all can think of any topics or highlights of the year or priorities, you can just email me or Kathy and we'll send it over to Brad and he can get it in a newsletter.
Love's, they were waiting on closing, and I think that has finalized. Then they were turning it over to a surveyor. So, we've had to deal with rezoning, replatting a property out at Sherlock Holmes on 115. Y'all approved it in November. We just now got the plat. So, I'm sure, as with everything, there's so much work to do, they're backed up.
So on that Love's property, are they buying the property before they present us with what they think the plans are for it? Okay.
Now, the front 10 acres on that property is still for sale. It's the V. Yeah.
All right, does anybody else have any discussion? Make a motion to adjourn? Go ahead, Tina.
I have updates. So we have a new sound system. You already know that.
It's so awesome.
Yeah. It's so easy. What was that from, the 80s, 70s? Anyway, cleanup week is also this week, this Saturday to next Saturday, or this coming Saturday, so don't forget to do that. Yeah, you'll have to take your city water bill out there. Yeah. Leaders of Tomorrow will be here tomorrow. With, me and Kathy will be speaking. Leaders out. And Leah. Leah will be speaking also.
They take a group of kids from the 11th grade, and the whole year they just take them around town to the local businesses and the local government to teach them what they might consider doing when they get their education and come back home.
Are we gonna act on the, waiver for residential permits?
It's not something that you have to vote on. Y'all just discuss whether you're going to do it or not, and then we'll implement it. It's not a vote or a resolution or.
Also, Berkshire's re-grand opening is on Wednesday at 11 o'clock. And also we're off on Monday for Martin Luther King Day. Sorry, and then the residential building permits are next. If y'all thought about it, do you want to waive first 5 or not?
How many years have we done that now?
This will be the third. It's been 2.
So my only question on that, and if you guys want me to be quiet, I will. With building going on like that right now, is it encouraging any more building? I mean, we're building like crazy right now. So it's not like it's going to bring any more money to do it. It's coming anyways. So, I mean, is it necessary that we think we need to do it to encourage home building right now?
I do think there's probably some people out there waiting to build homes so they can get that waiver.
that's what I'm saying, the builder's gonna, I understand it in a scenario where house growth is stagnant, even the guy that came to talk to us, was talking about the fact that there's people moving here, and we can't build enough houses right now. So, I mean, I don't know that there's enough money either way to worry about, but let's say what opinion.
But this isn't a developer asking for it, it's an individual building their own home.
First 5 people that would receive it, so, yeah.
Gonna have a drawing or something, but if somebody doesn't build till June, then the first 5, it's, you know, I don't.
What do we need to do with it?
Yeah, so and if they don't know, yeah, if you don't know about it, then you just.
You're just here telling us yes, you want to do it, or no, you don't. Yes. Unofficially.
Unofficially, all those in favor, say aye. Of doing it, say aye. Giving the permit. All in favor of giving the permit, say aye. All in favor, not in favor, say nay.
Nay.
Nay, okay. Y'all have a nay. Can you do Main Street report? That's the one on the south side. Across from the lake. You make it easy. Are we okay to make a motion to adjourn? Does anybody have anything else?
I make a motion.
I'll second.
Push your microphone.
Next Tuesday, you all may begin picking up your packet. You need one, Harold needs one, Sherilyn needs one, and Brad needs one. Mary does for the Money Star term. And then you'll don't pick it up, Harold, I'll bring it to you.
Just kidding, me, I'm not going to mail box.
Okay, who's did the motion?
I second.
And it is 6:00.
Thank y'all very much. We're adjourned.